proceed with this webinar now. Before we begin, I just want to introduce the participants on our end. We have two people from support. There's first myself, the lead technical support. My name is Aaron Jordan. And then we also have Roberto Carlos here with us. He's also another support agent. We want to say hi, Roberto.
Hello, guys.
So Roberto's going to go ahead and drive today. He's going to bring you through most of the dashboard information. Towards the end, we're going to touch on our new feature, InGuard. Now, we do have regularly scheduled webinars for InGuard. We encourage you to see those so you can get more information on that. But I will touch on them briefly in a little bit, or at least at the end of the webinar. So with that said, I'm going to have Roberto come over here and take over, and he's going to go ahead and begin the drive on our trip today.
Okay, hello. Hi. How's everybody doing today?
They can't respond. They're on mute.
No. Okay, so this is what the actual dashboard looks like. We're going to go over a couple things today. Number one, creating a backup account and taking a look at the actual features within the actual partner dashboard. So with further ado, here we go. Okay. So when you log into the actual dashboard, you'll notice there's a couple views here. A couple important views here are the backup account, the top 5 backup accounts here on the left-hand corner. So you get an overview, a brief snapshot of your top 5 backup accounts. You'll see backup activity here. We'll touch on this a little bit later on. And then there's graphs here. So these graphs show how many files altogether for all your backup accounts have been backed up, as well as all of the allocated space to your backup accounts. Okay, and in the middle here we have the actual tool sections. We're going to go over creating a backup account first. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Create Backup Account. All right, you'll get this dialog box that pops up. All right, the company reseller name is going to be pre-populated. That's going to be whatever you guys as a company have asked us to set up as, right? That's correct. All right, here it's going to ask you for full name. An email address. If you type in, let's say for instance, I'm going to go ahead and type in my email address or my Infrascale email address, which is roberto.carlos at Infrascale. You'll notice that the actual username gets populated as well. It's good to leave the actual username the way as an email address. However, you got to be aware of a couple things. If, for instance, you wanted to change the actual username to the backup account, it's going to require for us to make some changes on our end so that you can use that username again. So we recommend maybe a different username, maybe. And you can do that by just simply, whatever you want to name the actual backup account. And then, of course, the actual password and the confirmation of the actual password. Now, in case that you have clients that need to be HIPAA compliant, we have the UltraSafe functionality for the backup accounts. Keep in mind, these UltraSafe accounts, if the customer forgets the password to that account, we won't even be able to retrieve the actual password for you guys. But you can select that. And then the actual secret question. The secret question is for non-UltraSafe accounts so that you can retrieve the actual passwords to the account in the event that you forget the password for the account or your clients forget the password to the account. And then please disregard this customer type. This is just per our demo. You won't see this on your partner dashboard.
To be more specific, if you have multiple CTCs, which we generally don't give out anymore, you will have the ability to have multiple custom plan sets. And again, there's real no real need for it at this time or anymore. But this is an administrator dashboard we've had for a very long time, so it does have multiple customer type codes with multiple sets of plans. But for the most part, that CTC section won't even show up. You'll just have the plan size, if you guys are curious about that.
Thank you, Aaron. And then at the bottom, we will be able to select whatever size the account that you want to make that backup account. You don't have to worry about what size you picked initially. You can go back and we can change the size of the backup account in the event your customers start to grow. That's not a problem. And then if you were assigning either EGR licenses or Shadow Protect licenses, we can do that here, as well as NGAR licenses. Okay? Any questions so far?
So we're not seeing any questions, but if you guys want, there is a section that should be populated there. It says questions. You can type in them at any point, and we'd be more than happy to take the time out as we're going through this to respond to those questions. So please feel free to use those. And again, since we don't see any questions, we're going to go ahead and move forward from here. And again, if you have more questions or want us to kind of circle back to something, just let us know.
Thank you. All right, so once the actual account is created, we're going to go ahead and select View Backup Accounts here. You'll be able to see the account that was created. We have a whole a slew of accounts on our demo machine, so you guys can take a look. You'll be able to see what the account name is, the company name, the size of the account.
And also keep in mind that the InGuard thing on the left by the backup account.
Okay.
The InGuard notifies that there is an InGuard license assigned to that account. And again, I'll touch on that later.
Like Aaron said, if the account is or actually has an InGuard license, it'll show in the account name. We'll go over InGuard at the end of the actual presentation. Moving on forward, so you'll be able to see the account size and then what they've actually used so far in regards to their backups. You'll be able to see if it's a trial account, this will be checked or not. You'll see the sign-up date, the date the customer or the account was created, alerts if any, and the amount of devices that they're backing up. And then you'll be able to see the actual email that's associated with that backup account. Okay? Here under monitoring, monitored, if it's checked, we'll go over that under backup monitoring. It'll basically tell you if the account's being monitored and emails are being sent on that backup account to the email designated to that backup account. And then the most important feature here is the actions feature, the actions field here. So you'll be able to do a lot of things here. You'll be able to manage the backup policies from here. If you've, and we'll go over creating companies as well. If you had a company and you wanted to move a regular backup account into the company, you can do so from here. You can change the backup account size, right? So let's say, for instance, the company grows and you want to change the allocated size to the backup account, you can. Change the account email. You can do that here as well in the event that you want to change the company's or the backup account email. You can cancel the account. And then you can log in as the actual backup account admin. Or you can log into the actual backup account.
Now, I did want to take some time to look at that. The login and backup account, it takes you to, we have another portal called the My Account portal, and it's basically a user interface that allows your individual clients to be able to take a look at their data that's backed up. They can even get their own reports. They can choose to share certain files. They can recover smaller files under, believe it's a 50 megabyte size. They can recover those files from this location without using the software. They can quickly browse through certain file types, etc. So this is something that your clients get that we have provided as a courtesy, just kind of something they can check out. All right, so moving forward, we're going to go ahead and touch on the...
Before we move forward, are there any questions? Okay, moving on. I'm going to go back here. And then we're going to go over remote backup policies here. So you can create a remote backup policy for a backup account. Keep in mind this policy, if enabled on the backup account, will override whatever is initially set when you set up the actual backup account or the actual backup. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and show you what it looks like to create one. You're going to see the similar options within the actual software when you create a backup. So you can looks like there's a question. Give me a sec here. Do you have to use a client's email as a given account?
So the question is, do you have to use the client's email as the given account's email address? No, you can put whatever you want. In fact, we have some partners that, barring creating the companies, they actually use the same email account for all of their clients' emails, which is why you have the option of renaming the username after you put the email in. The idea is if you want to have one notification go to, or multiple notifications go to one email address so that you can monitor everything from one spot, that's completely plausible. You can alternatively create a company, put them all underneath the company, or you can choose a different email address to give your clients a little more control over what they're looking at. But at the end of the day, you may want to put the email in your name because it enables you to recover the password quickly. So long story short, you don't have to, but you can, and then you can change the email or the username accordingly. Thanks for asking that question. That was a good one, actually.
Okay, so create a backup policy. You'll see this within the actual software, so you'll be able to set up the actual policy with what you want the backup account to back up.
And this is pretty simple. Basically, you can set the initial policy when you're on the client site, and then at a later date you can create this policy and then later assign it like you did with the backup accounts. And that would enable you to be able to change the policy on the fly from the cloud without touching your client's machine.
Okay. And then here we can actually edit or delete the actual policy. I'm going to go back to the home page, and moving forward, we want to take a look at rebrand settings. Rebrand settings here. So here you can actually name the client whatever you want for your customers, and this will show up when they actually launch the software. You can change the logo on the client. You can update the icon that's downloaded on the customer's device, as well as set up a banner here. Okay, usually here I've had customers where they say, hey, well, I got this image I like to set up for to use with the rebrand settings. The application is smart enough to resize it for you, but in the event that you have issues with that, you can give us a call here at support and we can help you with that.
You can also look at the little question mark in the upper right by each section. It'll give you an idea what you should aim for when you start to make these things. So for example, the logo, we're looking for a specific size of the file. And then also it can't be larger than 1 megabyte. For the banner, we give you dimensions on the banner. For the icon, you need to make sure that it's an ICO format, the proper Windows ICO format. Otherwise, the rebranding settings will spit it back out to you and say it's not compatible. But if you do that and you look at the question mark, it'll tell you exactly what you're looking for. So there's no like confusion as to what you need to set these items up as. And for example, with the logo, you can see on the second paragraph, first line, it says the image it'll be automatically scaled to 68 by 49. If you set it by 68 by 49 before you upload it, then you have a perfect aspect ratio on that image, so there's no distortion. But if you don't have the time, then you can just upload it quickly and it'll upload. And you can update it at any point throughout the process here.
Thank you, Aaron. And then down here, we can actually set up an email address as to who the reports come from when the email report goes out. You can designate an email address in this field. The My Account URL, we're going to leave blank. That's going to automatically populate.
And that populates automatically through the My Account portal we just showed you earlier. If you happen to be feeling adventurous and you want to take our APIs and build your own, you're more than welcome to. You can also point that My Account URL to any kind of other website that you may have already in existence. Maybe you have a partner portal that you already have that brings in your clients and allows you to sell more product. That's kind of the idea for the rest of these links here, the My Account portal, right, the product site URL, the contact us if you have a CRM that you need to do ticketing system through, the upgrade URL where you would go to be able to upgrade the software, or rather the ask for an upgrade. So you might want to make an upgrade page, web portal, etc. So that's what those entail.
Right. So as you can see, it's pretty robust and pretty customizable to your however you want to set it up.
Any questions on the rebranding settings? So we see a few other questions here. It says, Walter asks, the username is a key to your system. Is there a place that tells us what the systems are? Actually, there is. That's an InGuard feature. We'll touch on it at the end, but it will tell you exactly the OS and what machines they're on. If you don't have InGuard, we still do tell you which machine each software or the software is installed on. So you get things like the username, each individual machine, and each type of backup natively without having to get InGuard. But InGuard will give you the OS of the machine, the version of the software, and enable you to upgrade the software remotely from that machine. So I hope that answered that question, Walter. Oh, and you had another one. Do you need InGuard to do remote policy backups? No, but what you can do with InGuard is if you have InGuard, you can turn the remote policy into an MSI, and it's a buildable MSI in this dashboard. I can show it to you guys later on. And the idea is you can have it install into your client's machine with certain prerequisites so that, for example, it takes the machine name and it builds a username out of it. And the next time you reboot the machine after installing the software, it'll automatically create a user account and connect it back to your dashboard, thus making you have to do less work by creating this one MSI. So you don't have to, but you can. And for those of you who don't want to buy InGuard but have no problem setting up group policies on your domain controller the old-fashioned way, you can actually look at our MST MSI knowledge base article, and it tells you how to open it up with Orca and do it manually. So good questions, Walter. We appreciate the feedback. So moving forward, go ahead and...
All right, so the next thing we're going to take a look at is backup monitoring. So backup monitoring will give you all the actual backups that are happening with your backup accounts. It'll tell you the actual status. It'll tell you what account is doing the backup. It'll tell you what type of backup it is, either to the file folder backup. It'll tell you the date of the last backup. And then here in the details, you can expand it, and then you get a little bit further into what that backup actually entailed. So how many files and folders were backed up, how many files changed or didn't change, and how many files were processed.
And to show you an example of how current and up-to-date our backend system is, look at the second one on the list. Go ahead and click OK and close this, Roberto, for me. Look at the second one on the list. Backup is in progress. That's real-time information. That's one of our sales reps out on the floor who's backing up his computer as we speak. That's how granular it is.
And then the actions buttons here, you'll this will give you the ability to add or remove individual records in regards to reporting for the backup account.
That's important if you crash and burn a machine and then replace it, and then you want to be able to remove that reporting event so you don't get bothered by it anymore.
Yeah.
You can come in here and remove it out of the dashboard.
That's correct. Okay. Are there any questions on this section? Moving forward, and then I'm just going to go back to the home page. A couple things I want to hit here on the right-hand side, the actual dashboard overview. You'll be able to also get marketing information under the Partner Resource Center. You'll be able to click on Backup Guide. You can chat with us live, with the live representative. You can actually query our knowledge base with any question that you may have. Or you can directly call us here at support.
And if I can take a second to bring this to your attention, guys, it's really important that you reach out to us at the second notice, you know, as soon as you get a problem coming up. More specifically, we have people who would like help when they go through their first bare metal install, or want to make sure that they can wrap their minds around the more difficult setups, how you're going to approach an entire company. I get these calls all the time, and to be honest with you, I would rather you call me so I can help you figure it out. The best reason for that is if you can set this up, there's peace of mind for you. You can set it up, not think about it later, know that it's going to work, and then start concentrating on generating more people and more revenue. So really, what it comes down to it is the more money you make, the more money we make. I don't mean to sound crass, but at the end of the day, it's all about trying to make sure that you're making the money so we're making the money. So I want to encourage you to call our number if you have any problems, any questions, any assistance that you require to set up these bare metal setups, any of the difficult setups, because we can help you set these up. We can get you educated efficiently and thoroughly, and then you guys are going to be completely on your own, or the ability to be completely on your own without having to ask us anything unless something comes up. And then you already know the protocol at that point, how to get a hold of us. So we have a really good fluid relationship. So I can't stress this enough in our webinars. Please live chat us, search the knowledge base, give us a call. We want to keep a good, healthy relationship going so that we can all be making money out of it.
Thank you. And the last thing I want to touch on is the actual download. So here you would be able to find the executable links to the Windows installer here, the Shadow Protect version 5. We also have Shadow Protect version 3.5, but that's for our legacy customers that are still using 3.5. You can download the actual installer for OS X for Mac users, and the EGR software as well. Okay, this download down here, the online backup Windows for MSI, is used for instance, a mass deployment where you can create a GPO object in the event that you want to do a mass deployment. So you can use that for that. Are there any questions in regards to the download links? Okay, that pretty much covers the overview of the dashboard. Aaron's going to go ahead and touch on NGuard, and I appreciate your time, and thank you.
All right, gentlemen, so I just wanted to say something real quick. I wanted to clarify something. Now, we did see the MSI here at the bottom. This MSI is different than the NGuard MSI, and I'll go over that in a second. So remember when I said you can do it old school with the group policies? That's what you'll do with this. So if you look at the knowledge base and you find the one that says MSI and deployment on the policy, group policy, then you can do that with this version. If you're going to actually do the newer MSI, then you have the ability to use the GPO of the MSI builder, and you'll see that as I go through NGuard. So with that said, The way you add InGuard is like you add any other license with our system. If you click on the other side of this thing, this next, and you click on Assign View Licenses here, you'll see that you can assign license keys to your account. You'll notice here we've got Exchange Granular Recovery, Shadow Protect version 3, Shadow Protect version 5, and InGuard. InGuard is what we're going to be playing with today. In any of these cases, you can either add a username and check any license that we have, or you can click Change and add after the fact. Actually, that was an old account, so I'll just click on this. I can add any of these licenses after the fact or remove them. So let's say we're going to add an InGuard license. I've already got some added, but I'll just go ahead and add one to this account here, this Lasso Demo X. I'll click Change, and I'll hit the InGuard license, and I'll click OK. Now you'll notice that it went from 11 to 12. It recalculates everything. You got the success message. And you'll see that from crossing this thing right here, we'll see Lasso Demo X has InGuard associated with it now. So from there, I'll go ahead and go home. And then I'll click on the View All, or you can click on View Backup Accounts here in the middle. And it'll take me to all my backup accounts. Now I mentioned earlier that we have the InGuard right here. I'm going to go ahead and find the Lasso Demo X. So let me just type in my account name, Lasso Demo X. I'm going to go ahead and apply the filter. Oh, I must have typoed it. Most likely I read it wrong. I'll just remove it. Click Apply. And then I'll look for there it is right there. Oh, Demo EX. That's where I made the mistake. So if I go here, Lasso Demo EX, and I apply the filter, I can shrink down which ones I'm looking at. Now I'm going to click on the actual link of the account. When you click on the link of the account, it takes you to a new section. This is the InGuard section. InGuard gives you far more granular and reporting and recovery options than the other solution, the standalone solution provides. So if you want to do more InGuard stuff, like for example device management, I can click on this. As we see here, this guy doesn't use any devices. Let me find one that's actually using more stuff so we can get a more exciting demo going on here. Let's see here. Don't think I did with the API. OLB partner demo. I know this guy's been around the block. He should have plenty of goodies for us. Device management. There we go. From this one account, you can see that we use this extensively in our own office. We have usernames for each machine, for each device here. We also have the date, and then the green shows that it's connected, which means it's connected to internet. Interestingly enough, Mike Zverdny's out on lunch right now. His machine is shut down. Looky there, the connection is not available. So we know that his machine's off. The policy, if there's a special policy assigned to it, we talked about group policies earlier. This is where you can get a more granular view of it. This is his OS, and we see that it's a 64-bit install. We have the backup version. The software is 5.11. We also have the last time it backed up, and then if there are any actions. And again, he's offline, so there are no other actions available for this account. But look at this account. This is 5.10, Lasso Demo 7, for shame. It should be updated. So I click on this here, and I can upgrade the account where I stand. I can run the backup where it stands, or I can change a policy. So right now I know the reason why this machine is not updated. It's because it's a demo server that I just brought down. So it's sitting detached from the rest of the system. But I would be able to normally upgrade the account and then push that out, and it would enable me to do a backup of that account, or upgrade the backup account, or rather the installer on that account. The next thing is the data loss prevention. Now you're probably wondering, what do I need data loss prevention for? I'm already trying to prevent myself from getting data loss. Well, this enables you to do certain things like run a backup right here, right now. More specifically speaking, it tells you where the backup account is at, so you can make sure to keep track of it at all times. Let's say somebody steals your laptop and you want to know where it's at. The next time the machine starts up, guess what? It's going to tell you where it's at. It's also going to enable you to upgrade, run the backup, or change the policy. We also have other options that's coming in the data loss prevention that allows you to burn a backup. What that means, again, is the machine is stolen. Now, I don't want anyone taking this information, so I can go in and I can tell it to wipe the backup. That's actually going to be out in a couple days. So basically the idea is that you can make sure that you're not going to be hijacked by someone else. You can remotely take care of that. Analytics. Analytics enables you to check out on a 24, 30, or calendar view. I think they just upgraded this, so they have a change going on, so I can't actually see anything outside of this. But what's going to happen is they're going to have a little analytic view. It's going to show you each machine, the backup rates on each machine, and how much data they're backing up. You can also export this guy to Excel. Device map. This enables you to see where in the world your devices are at. This is pretty cool. It's just kind of one of those things that you can show off. And again, it's also good if we're trying to track it where something is. So if somebody stole your laptop, I can just come on here. I can say, oh, hey, that place looks familiar. I think that's our office. So I can go down. I don't want to zoom in too far because some of these are people's homes. But the idea is you can see where the laptops are at. You can see that we have some in Ukraine. That's where our developers reside, or some of them. We have a lot of locations in Los Angeles. We have one in Miami, Florida. We have a couple in El Segundo. As you can see, the majority of these are in El Segundo. Hey, there I am right there. So you can see that a lot of people are in certain locations. So this enables you to go ahead and take a look at where these items are in your solution. Also, you get the detailed backup activity, so I can view the backup activity here. And I can see what happened the last time it backed up, its status, the account name, the machine it ran on, what type of backup it ran, the last event date, and some basic information on that backup. It also enables me to see things like, or be able to remove these records. So that's just the beginning stuff for InGuard. We are going to be adding more RMM type of stuff into InGuard. Things like changing and setting up backup policies dynamically, which actually you can do with the MSI builder. Actually, I'll go back home and I'll show you what that looks like right here, MSI. And you also can do things like run backups automatically, or rather force them to run. And eventually we're going to be adding additional PowerShell type of commands that we're going to enable you to be able to do some pretty awesome things if you have the software installed on that client's machine. Any questions on the basics of InGuard before I go through the InGuard mass deployment option? I do see a question. Someone asked a question about Shadow Protect, the difference Shadow Protect version 3 and version 5. So we used to sell version 3.5 of Shadow Protect, and then we recently brokered a new deal with StorageCraft because we were tired of having a version out or 2 versions outdated. So we actually signed up and got you guys version 5 at no additional cost. So the 3.5 is there just because we want to make sure that our legacy partners have the ability to upgrade for free. But for all those who are new, just go to version 5. It's better. It's newer. It's got more goodies. It's definitely the way to go. And in fact, we don't even distribute 3.5 anymore because it's no longer supported by StorageCraft. So just pick up version 5 and you'll have all the newest goodies and features, and that is what the difference is. Thank you for your question, Javier. I appreciate your attentiveness. So I see no other question. Oh, I do. Difference between Shadow Protect and InGuard.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so Shadow Protect is for bare metal backups. The idea is if I need to image a machine, if I need to back up an Exchange or SQL server that's not supported natively, and with that said, we support 2008 R2, 2008 R1, and 2012 SQL natively through just the SOS Online Backup software, and Exchange 2010 through the SOS Online Backup software. All other versions of SQL or Exchange, or if you want to make a disaster recovery, a bootable image of the server, you would need Shadow Protect for. So InGuard is simply the ability to monitor and manage additional stuff and have an RMM aspect to the backup. I hope that makes sense. All right, any other questions? All right, I don't see any, so I'm going to move forward with the last part here, the MSI. So we mentioned the old MSI deployment. This is the new one. This is the new bag here. So with the MSI deployment, you can actually assign a pre-built policy. This enables you to choose exactly what you want to back up, when you want them to back it up, etc. You saw that screen earlier when Roberto showed it to you. All I have to do is assign that policy. I name the MSI. Let's just say this demo. And I'm going to assign the all folders for the QuickBooks, PST, and Docs. And I'm going to make it to where it's not visible on the start menu entry, so it's a hidden install. I also want to make it to where it expires on February of next month. The idea is if I have an MSI that basically enables me to be able to make a backup account for free, essentially, I want to make sure that it doesn't get out there. And if it does, it has a limited time lifespan on it. So this prevents you from blowing up too much, so that you can still delete the accounts or cancel the accounts of somebody who shouldn't have the MSI gets their hands on it. But the idea is it will expire after X amount of days, so that you can make sure that not to have to worry about that in the future. You'll see I have create account automatically checked here. What happens here is if you type in the size of the storage, assign a policy, MSI, and then you can use the username template. Basically here, it uses the username of the client's machine and the domain that they're on. If you just want to use the username of the client's machine and add 1234 on it, it'll do that automatically. And then I can add the email address. And that means every account, once I generate the MSI, every account that generates that MSI, as you can see here, will have that policy information. It'll expire on February 2008 or 8th, 2014. It's called Demo MSI. It will back up QuickBooks, PSTs, and documents, and it will be version 11, 5.11, and it will automatically create backup accounts with the username of their machine plus 1234, and it will always send every email to me@email.com. So that's, and then all you have to do is run that installer, and it takes care of everything for you. It's pretty much silent after you start it up. Does anyone have any questions on the MSI before we say goodbye? All right, at this time, since we're about to come to a close, I just wanted to offer anybody one last chance to ask any question from any part of this demo. And I also want to remind you guys to contact your sales rep if you need any license keys, any extra storage space, or need to know more about InGuard and or are interested in purchasing or trying InGuard, anything of that nature. Don't forget to reach out to your sales rep. So I'll give it another minute or two, waiting for any additional questions. If you guys have the questions you want, you're welcome to drop off as you desire. But at this time, we're just waiting for anyone asking any remaining questions. Alvin asks, as long as InGuard is registered, the Shadow Protect license is free for us to use? Actually, no, they're two different licenses. So InGuard enables you to do more granular reporting and monitoring and RMM maintenance on your accounts, whereas Shadow Protect enables you to do a backup, or a bare metal backup. They are separate products. Yes, Javier, they are separate products. So keep that in mind. The idea behind Shadow Protect is that you can do bare metal, offer bare metal. The idea behind InGuard is that you have more information on each account so that you can manage it more accurately, more remotely, more detailed. Javier, yes, Shadow Protect is separate than everything else, and it is bare metal. It is the bare metal solution. So to kind of break down exactly what everything is, we have the SOS online backup client, which basically sends all the data off-site to the cloud. You have the Shadow Protect, which is used to image a machine on a bare metal level. You have EGR, or Exchange Granular Recovery, which enables you to open up an Exchange mailbox and granularly pull out data. That is anything from a contact to an email to an attachment of an email to a snippet of an email to a task or a note on your Exchange mailbox. And then you have the MSI, which enables you to be able to push out everything in a nice little package. EGR is something that you purchase separately to answer that question. So what happens is when you purchase bare metal licenses, usually you can purchase an EGR license. In some cases, they come in the package. I believe the SMB package comes with the EGR licenses, whereas the SME does not. So the idea is one will come with both Shadow Protect and EGR. You can also buy them individually or in packs of 5. They can come together or they can come independently. They're usually cheaper in the packages together, so it's definitely worth your while to pick up like that. Keep them coming, guys. So I was asked, how do I find out what I've signed up for? You can contact your sales rep or you can contact support. I can usually tell you pretty quickly. I just don't want to hop into our CRM in front of everyone and expose your information, but I can usually do it within 30 seconds. So just go ahead and come to live chat. It's a good example. Let's go ahead and use that now. And if somebody's on live chat or if there's available clients on live chat, we may be overbooked, but if not, just log in there or call in after the webinar or contact your sales rep. But either way, reach out to us. It won't take us long to find out. Any other questions, guys? Anything at all? Oh, I have another question. Can the dashboard detect existing Shadow Protect software on a client machine? So Shadow Protect is technically a separate part of our service. We do offer it, so it technically doesn't need to be placed into the dashboard. So the idea is, let's say that you have Shadow Protect already installed on another client's machine. The point of the dashboard for Shadow Protect is to enable you to track the license keys so that you can make sure that you've got it assigned. If you've already got it installed on another client's machine and it's already being worked and it's working fine, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. In other words, keep using it. You won't technically track it in our dashboard, but the backup software is what mainly tracks in our dashboard anyway. It's going to be what determines how the backups are going, where they're going, etc. So Shadow Protect, in the future, we're hoping to make it to where you can interact with it from the dashboard. And in any case, it won't require you to have it connect to the dashboard because Shadow Protect was built outside of our dashboard, but definitely works in tandem with it for the licensing purposes, not necessarily for the maintenance and the update purposes. That's where our software is talking to the system. So it's basically a place for our software to talk. Any other questions, guys? Okay, guys, I appreciate you all joining today. It was a fun webinar. I really appreciate the feedback. If at any time you guys have any questions, please contact your sales rep or reach out to support located in your dashboard. And we're more than happy to facilitate any requests that you can offer us. With that, I'm going to thank you all for showing up and then wish you all a happy week and hope to hear from you soon. Bye-bye.